Know if we're recording. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to start. So you are here to learn more about this very sort of this very new information to you. And let's take a minute to acknowledge that, yes, this came up quick and we're sorry for that. Essentially, you are using an old system for your referrals. And this system needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced for security reasons, first and foremost. And it needs to be replaced also because this is a system that relies on, sort of clean and updated information to keep working really, really well. So before we start, just a quick introduction. I'm not sure how many of you know about MiHIN. MiHIN is Michigan's health information exchange. Okay, our state has a statewide health information exchange. We are a nonprofit organization, and we are the infrastructure that connects every hospital system, every every payer, our public health through MDHHS, and clinics and doctors and pharmacies. We provide the infrastructure necessary to share information between local systems. So some entities use Epic. Some entities use not Epic. They use Athena, they use eClinicalWorks, they use Cerner, they use, you all know what you use. Those systems were not designed to talk to one another. And maybe on purpose, but guess what? Human beings move around our health ecosystem, and our health ecosystem needs to make sure that critical information is being moved between systems. That is MiHIN's job, okay? We are a nonprofit organization. We are an unbiased data trustee. We do not create any of the data that we route, okay? We are transforming it. We are cleaning. We are helping to translate it between systems, but we are not producing any of the health information that is shared within our network. Instead, we are convening very powerful, very important parts of the healthcare ecosystem to standardize and share information in a private, secure, legal manner, right? So that is MiHIN. And the tool that you are using is provided to you through the Michigan Health Information Network. Okay, just to give you a sense. So what I said was county health departments, state departments, other health information exchanges in the country, health and hospital systems in Michigan, health plans, and primary care physicians, behavioral health clinics, home health clinics, SNFs, lab and radiology outfits. They are all sending information into MiHIN. And MiHIN is sharing that information out to each part of the sector based on who they have shared patients in common. Okay. Now, where your referrals tool and where the whole on referrals tool fits into this ecosystem is between specialists and between healthcare systems, referrals need to be made. And many of our health systems, many of our providers in Michigan are using this same system. This same system is the system you are on now. Some people call it Hold On. Some people call it GLHC. And if you have questions about that, we can get into it. But what it will be known going forward is MiHIN referral system. It's the MiHIN referral system, and we need it upgraded, and we need everybody to be upgraded to the same system at the same time so that people aren't working on the old system when we need them to work on the same new system. Does anybody have any questions about all of that before we start? Please feel free. This is an open dialogue. This came up quick. We are all here to learn. There are no stupid questions. What about what I just said was surprising, confusing, or that you need to know more about?
How will we get the information to launch the new app once it goes live? Our office, there's only a couple of us in the office that use it. IT can't seem to get it on computers. So like I work remotely and it's on our server.
Okay.
So I just don't know if there's going to be some sort of link or program to download going forward. I'll need to relay that to my IT department.
Understood. We are going to move through every step of this transition process with you here today. Does anybody have any questions about who MiHIN is, why you are working with MiHIN, or what you are here to learn today?
I do. I have a question kind of on the same note as the lady that spoke before me. I am from the IT department, and so I already downloaded the version 7 app. And then I built a MECM package and then tested the deployment, and it works and everything fine. I am just looking for like firm, like when does the new app, and then also to confirmation of like this version 7.0.27 or whatnot needs to be installed on the machines at this date.
We will get there for you.
Okay.
Okay, Shannon, are you ready for our very engaged audience?
I definitely am.
I see another hand up. It's nice when people raise hands. I'm not into it. I feel like, look, I'm running the show, Shannon. I'm sorry. I'm sure you like when people raise their hands, but I can't see everybody that's raising their hands and I don't want to miss anybody. So if you feel like you want to say something or ask a question, please feel free, come off mute. You know, you don't have to raise your hand. I'm looking at you, Lene. I see your hand raised. I don't know if you have a question, but I don't want to leave you in the dust. Okay, maybe it's just up. Maybe she's just giving us like you can do it. We can do this. All right, Shannon, it's over to you. Help us out here.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to promise not to slide everyone to death today because it's really just an overview and an opportunity for us to talk through this transition that's going to take place next week. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, if you bear with me one moment. And if I can just get a confirmation when folks can see my screen.
You betcha.
Yep, can see.
Perfect, thank you. So again, I don't have many slides here, but we're going to go ahead and overview the timeline and the steps that we're going to take in order to go live on the new platform. I'm going to start with an overview of what this platform will bring. I'm going to provide with you a very brief demo of what it looks like. And of course, because most of you have used the current Referrals Plus system, you're going to find a lot of similarities. It's absolutely modeled after the current platform. So we're going to keep the demo very brief, but certainly welcome your questions as we go through the platform. We'll then talk about the upgrade timeline and those steps that need to occur as we move forward. And much of our time towards the end will be reserved for your questions. Now, I know I have quite a bit of information on this slide, so I really just want to talk through an overview of what this is. First and foremost, this transition is going to take place next Wednesday, July 17th. For folks that were around the last time we did a major upgrade, there was kind of a D-date where as of this specific day, one version was uninstalled and a new version was installed and used. And that is exactly what we are doing next Wednesday. You're currently using the Referrals Plus platform, or what you may hear referred to as the V6 platform. And that can be used through next Tuesday, the 16th. Everyone across the state will continue using that platform through next Tuesday, as that is going to be connected to all of the different organizations in Michigan leveraging referrals. Now, at the end of the day on the 16th, users can certainly uninstall as of that night, for example, But you cannot start using the new platform until the 17th. So even if you choose at 5 p.m. on the 16th to uninstall the old and install the new, no activity will take place on the new until Wednesday morning, the 17th. Now, with that, when you uninstall the current platform, I do want to note you will be also able to download information before uninstalling. We'll cover that here shortly in that demo. And just want to note that you will want to download any data you wish to retain, certainly any active referral information, but also any historical information, should you want that for like reporting purposes. You'll want to download that before you uninstall that current Referrals Plus platform. Now, as we look to the new, and again, we're going to share a demo here shortly, we have retained all of the commonly used Referrals Plus functionality in this new system. There are some pieces that were not as commonly used that maybe are not there yet. They're on a roadmap to be used. But again, all of that core functionality, even the look and feel of it, is very much the same with a couple small tweaks, which we will cover. Now, one of the benefits, of course, we spoke to, this needs to be upgraded from a security and compliance perspective. But this is also going to expand the capabilities, as this new platform that we offer has abilities to overlay and sense against your EHR. What this can do is this can sense the patient you're focused on in your EHR or system of record in order to pull in referral details, which then reduces data entry for those using this platform. Well, again, we'll cover that a little bit more in the demo. And last, simply want to confirm that the MiHIN Referrals application is going to continue as a statewide solution to send referrals between organizations on disparate EHRs, as Joanne mentioned earlier. So with that overview, I'm going to go ahead and take us into a demo. I'm going to share with you what that full-on platform is as a base, where the MiHIN Referrals application comes from that base platform. The MiHIN Referrals application will feature two primary components. There's the application or ribbon window, and then there's the referrals inbox window, which everyone will be very familiar with based on use of V6 or Referrals Plus. I'll briefly touch on how the sensor can function against your EHR, and then we'll go over some of the features and functions of this platform. And I'm going to go ahead and swap into my demo environment here. I do want to note this is no PHI. This is purely for demo purposes. What you can see here on the left side of my screen here is an EHR. And on the right side, I have the full-on platform, which has the MiHIN Referrals application built within it, open. Now, I do want to note, Zoom is going to give me a little challenge if I try to expand my EHR screen fully on the screen. However, that's only because I'm displaying. Normally, users will have their EHR taking up the entire footprint of the screen, and the application itself is going to be able to be minimized and then can be maximized back on screen so that you can see your full EHR. This is the minimized footprint here for folks that can see it. It's just a small little tab. And again, it will overlay the EHR, but Zoom is going to give me a little issue, so I'm going to keep my EHR a little smaller. I'm now going to expand it back to that full footprint, but again, to note, you can keep it in that small tab as you had done with the last version as well. Now, as I expand the application, I can do a couple things. First, I can launch into the MiHIN Referrals application itself, which is going to open up that inbox that everyone is familiar with. And I have it already open here. Now, this inbox, again, should look familiar to most folks. Again, this is all demo data here. But what I have is a list of all the referrals that have been sent or are currently in progress here in the center. And I'm still going to have that area of communication that we've always had, the ability to message back and forth organizations. This is where, if I was a sending practice, of course, I can download the referral summary. I can see a timeline of events, which will pop out here on the right. And of course, I can, in addition to communicate, I can also send attachments back and forth, such as if the recipient organization needed a progress note or a test result or something of that nature. Now, if I was on the receiving side, I would also have the ability to, of course, mark this referral as scheduled, or to also send back communication, or perhaps assign it within my organization to a specific user. This will allow our users that are going to have both sending and receiving referrals to toggle between those two based on if they were sent or received here on the lower left. That used to be up here at the top. So OneNote is one of those filters. If you are both a sending and receiving organization, you will be able to use these filters here below in order to make those adjustments. There's also sort of filters that you were familiar with previous, where we can limit by status. We don't want to see our completed referrals, for example, we can go ahead and toggle off that filter. Or if we only wanted to see our completed referrals, we can turn off the others and a list of only those completed. When I mentioned that ability to export or download the data, based on what you have limited in your statuses or how you filtered otherwise, you can use this download button here in order to download a CSV of all referral data that is in a field. So it's not necessarily going to include attachments and messages, but it will include the referral form fields, dates scheduled, reasons for completion, things of that nature. Now, when I reference downloading in the current platform, Referrals Plus, before you uninstall, that feature persists in the old platform as it does here in the new. So again, want to encourage folks, if you need to retain information, certainly your active referrals, but also if you want to retain any historical information from the old platform, to filter to what you wish to retain and use that download button. Now I'm going to go back into my pending, perhaps. We'll take a peek at those. I can see I've received perhaps a referral here. This referral, if I was a recipient organization again, I could do that assignment here. Maybe I want to assign this to one of my colleagues. But I could also, of course, mark this as accepted, for example. I could schedule this referral moving forward, and so forth. All the features you're familiar with today. Now, I want to go ahead and note that one of the changes that you'll see in this platform compared to the old is where that new referral gets initiated. When I click the new referral up here in the upper left corner, that is going to take place here in what we refer to as the ribbon. The benefit of this is that the ribbon is going to persist over the EHR. So as I minimize my inbox, if you do not leverage our sensor technology, then you'll be able to, for example, view the patient information in the EHR here on the screen on the left and complete it here on the right. I'm going to go ahead and put in some sample data here. If I can type, and just quickly move through a referral form.
Now, to be clear, this is a functionality that the new version offers, but it will not work this way day one.
What I'm sharing here is what will work day one, the ability to fill it out. The sensor. Perfect. Yep. We'll talk a little bit more about the sensor here in a moment, but the sensor has the ability to autofill this information essentially. And so that is a feature if you wish to pursue after we do our upgrade on the 17th and you have this platform installed. You can reach out through referrals@mihin.org and we can connect you with our support team in order to then do the sensor installation, which is separate from the platform itself. Now, again, we recognize maybe not everyone will use that feature. There may be some questions that you have on how we sense against your environment, but we are going to manage that as a separate part of installation. I'm not going to move, I'm not going to fill out every field here in my referral form, but I just wanted to share with you what this looks like. Of course, those required fields are, you'll be required to fill in. It will notify you if you've missed something. You can still add insurance or social support, such as a guarantor here in the platform. And as you select the organization you wish to refer to, you can simply type in the organization if you know who that is, or you can use the search feature to search by practice name, by specialty, keyword, and so forth. Now I'm going to leave my search fields blank here in this demo environment. We have not a lot of information loaded, so there's not a need for me to dig in too deeply. And I am going to, I guess my advanced search here didn't pull it up. I'm going to see if I can find perhaps a community resource, right? So maybe I want to refer to the MiHIN demo practice. And that reason is, in this case, we're just going to go ahead and put test. I have an asterisk there, so I know that that is required. Again, these are all fields that you're going to be familiar with based on your use of the old platform. Here is, of course, where you can add attachments. And if that practice that I was sending to had a specific questionnaire, of course, I would have been prompted to fill that out. Those practice unique questionnaires are still going to be retained in this platform, where you have the opportunity to collect specific information in order to receive that referral, and of course, prompt any attachments you may need. Now, I'm not going to actually send this through, but again, just wanted to walk you through the form of what sending that referral will look like here in the new platform. But I'm actually going to go ahead and go back home. I'm going to discard this. I don't want to save my draft, which you can do. And I'm going to go back into my inbox. I'm going to pause here for just a moment. Are there any questions based on the new referral form or any of the features I've covered here in the referral inbox?
So is this something that we should put our doctors' MAs on so that they can refer out on it, or should we just limit it to like 1 or 2 people per practice?
There is no limitation to how many users you can have on the platform, and we absolutely encourage you to include any care team members that would have benefit in using this to send or receive referrals. So it's not limited by role. Some organizations may have providers that use it, although that's rare. We'll often find the referral coordinators, medical assistants, other type of staff using the platform. And if you wish to have additional users set up here in our platform, the practice planner that hopefully folks have returned by now, but if you have not, that is your opportunity to indicate what users you wish to be added. And even if you have already submitted your practice planner, if you wish to have additional users set up, you can use the last tab of that planner to indicate those users, their contact information, their roles, etc. And we can set those up in the system upon receipt of that document.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Are there other questions? I'm going to take a peek at the chat as well. It looks like we do have some questions on the sensor. So thank you, Joanne, for confirming that there is no cost for the sensor. Now, the sensor is going to work for the referring offices at this time because it's going to fill out the referral form. We may have opportunities to do additional, I won't say integration, but sensing against an EHR for a receiving practice. But this is primarily to reduce that administrative burden for a user and entering data into a referral form in order to send a new referral. And perhaps I can show you what that looks like just to give you an idea. I have opened up a patient record here in my EHR. And granted, demo environment, it's going to lack a little bit of data, but just to share with you what that could be, since I've opened up Susan's chart here, I can go into the ribbon itself and I can initiate a new referral. If I select that new referral, whether it's here listed on the home screen or even it will also be an option here in your navigation bar. When I select that new referral, you'll see that I have information pre-filled. Now, again, my demo environment is a little sparse, so I don't have address information in for Susan, but for example, we can have the sensor designed to pick up patient information such as their name, date of birth, gender, address. Perhaps you have to initiate the referral or have some referral documentation in your EHR to start. We could even have it sense maybe what practice you're sending to or what is the reason for the referral in order to complete other fields here in that referral form. But the idea here is that yourself as a user creating a new referral, you don't have to manually type in all of this information. It's going to sense and pull it in from the EHR, which will not only save you time, but hopefully reduce any errors as you're manually typing in the information. Now, again, the sensor installation will take place separately. If you are interested in having the sensor added to your platform, you can reach out through referrals@mihin.org after our go live next week. And the Hold On support team will work with your organization to determine the best sensor for your environment, certainly address any compliance and security questions you may have, and then work to install and tune a sensor so that it picks up the information you wish to have pulled from your EHR into this referral form. I'm going to take a peek at the chat again. So great question, Robin. Are all EHRs compatible to the sensor technology? Yes. That is the beauty of our platform, in that we are not directly integrating with a specific EHR. So we are not actually building an interface between the EHR and our platform. We use a series of patented sensors that we have developed in order to sense against various different environments. And we work against many EHRs today, all of those we've been exposed to, and we're able to quickly stand up sensing against new EHRs we haven't yet encountered because we do not require the integration. The EHR vendor does not have to be involved in the configuration of the sensor. And depending on how you access your EHR, whether it's web-based, for example, or perhaps it's cloud hosted by the EHR vendor themselves, perhaps you have it on your own network and you're accessing through a thin client. We've encountered really all of those types of scenarios. We've worked with organizations of all sizes in implementing the sensor technology. And so, yes, it is compatible with every EHR we have ever encountered and anticipate it to be. But again, there may be some tuning if we have not encountered your EHR yet.
Okay, let's make sure. Thank you for that, Shannon. And this is sort of our why. This is the why are you changing anything? Why are you putting us on this new system? This is our why. We want to be able to give you more and better. And the new version of this platform is able to do that for you. But first, we have to get you on the new platform and we have to make everybody whole. So let's make sure that you know exactly what you have to do on the 17th and on the days following the 17th to make sure that your all of your data, all of those referrals that you have been working are in the new system.
Thank you, Joanne. Now with that, I am going to hop back into our presentation. As again, that was just like a brief demo to share with you how the platform works. Certainly going to have more time for questions here at the end of the slideshow as well. But just wanted to provide you with an overview of how that platform is going to work and hopefully provide some comfort in that it looks and feels very similar to the old platform. Now let's talk about the timeline and what we have to do. Now, first, we had asked for practice planners to be returned by last week. That was an Excel file that confirms your contact information, for example, your primary contact, your technical contact, and also to identify the appropriate admin users and regular users of the platform. Now, if you have not turned in your practice planner document yet, you're still, of course, welcome to do so. We will continue to accept those practice planners through the 17th and beyond to, again, set up users initially, or if you have additional users you would like set up, you can still send that practice planner document through at any time moving forward for us to set up those users. Now, if we do not receive your practice planner this week, we're pretty confident we'll be able to get all of those returned this week into our system. But the reason we had that July 5th date is because starting this week, we cannot guarantee that we can get users set up by the 17th. So I want to encourage you to return your practice planners as soon as possible if you have not done so, because that is how we are setting users up in the system to make sure that we're not transitioning users that are inactive in the old over on the new platform. Now, if you do return your planner, let's say next Tuesday, the 16th, you have hundreds of users potentially. That is where, again, we might not be able to get you all of your users live by the 17th. but we will work as quickly as we can to get all of those practice planners processed and the user set up. When that practice planner is processed on our team, users will receive an email indicating we've received the practice planner, their account is being set up. No action is needed in that automated email that will be sent. However, that will be your confirmation that there were no issues with the practice planner. We have what we need and we're prepared for the 17th. If we do receive a practice planner that we have questions on, or maybe we find it incomplete, you'll receive an email from a member of our team asking for clarification or further information. Now, moving forward to today, of course, this is our pre-go live webinar. This is our opportunity to ask questions and to really make sure that we have the information we need before next Wednesday. Now, as noted here in the lower corner here, we do have virtual office hours available. Every day there's a set period of time, and there is a Calendly link that you can use to schedule time with MiHIN and Holon to address any questions you may have ahead of this transition. On July 17th, there will also be a full day long webinar that's just kind of an open office hours. If folks are having any issues as they're making that upgrade or have any questions based on that new platform and so forth, our teams will be available all day to answer those questions, and you will not need to schedule with us. So that information will be coming out shortly as well. And we will continue to have some availability in office hours after the 17th as well. All of these to be communicated or available through that Calendly link for you to schedule with. Now, as you're preparing for next Wednesday, 17th, D-Day, if we can, I want to note that there is installation and user guides available on MiHIN's website today. We'll make sure everyone gets that link again. These guides overview how to uninstall the old, install the new, and there's of course that user guide that goes into all of the finite details of the new platform, much deeper than what I've just provided here in that quick demo. We encourage you to take a look at that collateral available on the website now, ahead of July 17th when we make that transition. Now again, as of the 17th, all referral activity must take place on the new platform. Your organization can choose to uninstall the old platform, for example, the end of the day on the 16th, or first thing on the 17th. But as of July 17th, the current Referrals Plus platform will no longer be able to accept new information into it. It's going to be like a read-only type of access. And that's where you won't be able to do anything, even download your information after that point. So again, I want you to download your data by the 17th from the old platform, uninstall and install the new platform on the 17th to begin making any new referral activity take place in the new platform as of next Wednesday. See, we have some chats and Q&A coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look again. All right. It looks like there are some folks that have not received the practice planner. We will certainly make sure that that gets sent out to everyone again. It is an Excel-based document to fill out. And I do believe it is also available on the MiHIN website.
It has been included in the chat. Yep, it's been included in the chat there. Everybody can download. If you can't download, you can also get to the practice planner through the MiHIN site, which has been linked in the chat as well. This question from you, Adam, does every user need to download the data, or can just one of our admins do it? This is an organizational decision. This is really private information. The data that you download as it relates to pending or active or scheduled, pending, active, is that it, or scheduled? That is data that you are going to need to use to get the new platform up and running. So it's up to your system if you want every user to download the data onto their own, onto their own system, which you probably don't. And maybe the admins would be in charge of the export and figuring out how to get those new referrals into the system. that make sense?
Sort of. It's a web-based portal, right? So as long as one of us downloads it and uploads it back in, everybody will have access to the data, right?
Correct. As long as one user under your organization downloads that information and then enters it into the new moving forward, all users in a practice will have access to that information, not necessarily only the information they have entered, just as the current platform works today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, again, when you do download that information from the current Referrals Plus platform, use those filters, as that may make this a little more manageable. I would encourage you to download a file of the active referrals or in-process referrals. Anything in a pending, scheduled, or accepted status, like technically pending, accepted, or scheduled, means that it's still in process, right? If you want to download data for historical purposes, so like your completed or canceled referrals, you could also filter out to those specific statuses, and you could download a separate file. But I would encourage you, perhaps you can do all of it at once. It will, of course, include the status information and in a CSV format. Of course, you could use a tool like Excel in order to sort and filter that information. But you also have the ability to download multiple files based on that status filtering.
All right, we have quite a few questions in the chat. I'm going to start from the top just to make sure we are not missing any. Did we get Christy's question about if we need to adjust the staff members on the list, should we resend it? Do providers need to be listed with their emails?
Yes, so certainly if you want to make adjustments to users, that practice planner is what you should return. If you already sent one and you want to send a corrected through, that is completely fine. Again, at this point, we cannot guarantee we can have all users live by the 17th, but we have many resources dedicated and we're fairly confident if you can get those in this week, we'll have them all set up by next Wednesday. So yes, feel free to send us a corrected practice planner, and please, in that email, just let us know that you're adjusting those users so that we catch this isn't a duplicate, but maybe an adjustment here. But that practice planner can be used today and forever forward in order to adjust, add, or even remove users.
Great. And then another question, how do we choose what completed referrals to download if we can't have more than 9,999?
Yes. So there is that limitation to the number that you can download. And recognizing some organizations have a lot of completed or historical referrals, we are going to work to make an export of referrals available after the 17th. That would only be for historical referrals, and we are currently working to deliver that information to MiHIN, and we have confidence that we will also be able to deliver that information to individual health systems or practices as well that have a large number of historical referrals. So if you're running into that limitation, there's too many to download in that completed or canceled status, then you can go ahead and submit a ticket through referrals@mihin.org that reaches our support team. And we can add you to the list of organizations to receive that export post go live on the 17th.
Great. Next up, how do we access attachments after the 17th since those aren't included in the export?
Any attachments that come through the referral platform should always be downloaded and saved to your source of truth, which is typically your EHR or saved on your network. Those attachments would need to be downloaded from the old platform prior to uninstallation on late the 16th or early the 17th in order for you to retain those. As a best practice, we do encourage all users of the application, when an attachment is sent through, maybe that is anything from the patient's insurance card to maybe it's a progress note or lab result or something of that nature needed for that referral, that information should always be downloaded and again stored in your system of record, your source of truth, as it's not intended to transition over from the old to the new platform.
Great.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I just wanted to tack on to that. I was the one who asked that question about the attachments. Will those, just for clarification, will those be available with the historical data, or will the historical data just be the same as the CSV export?
The same as that CSV export. I do
Okay,
believe we
so-
have some ability to bring messages in specifically, but not attachments.
So just to clarify, the attachments will all be gone and not accessible after the 17th.
Correct. After you uninstall the Referrals Plus platform, any attachments in that platform you will not be able to access again. Now, moving
If we
forward, of course,
if we retain the old platform and access it on a read-only basis, are we able to view the attachments?
so you will be able to view the attachments, but I also want to address the question regarding adding new platform before the 17th. You cannot run both platforms on a single workstation at the same time. So that is why we're saying to uninstall the old and install the new. If you do have a machine in your organization that you do not need to install the new on, maybe it's an extra computer or a workstation that someone that doesn't use referrals leverages, you could have the old platform running on that system even after the 17th in that read-only fashion, but it will only be available through the end of the month. The old platform will be deprecated at that time, and so we're going to have a limited time where you'll be able to access the old in a read-only fashion. However, again, it cannot be on the same workstation that the new has been installed in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Charles. All right, we'll keep going with the questions. How can we stop new referrals from coming to us through the current GLHC so we can make sure we have all the information downloaded before we switch to the new one on the 17th?
So that is why we're recommending to download your data as of the 16th, or the last day that all of Michigan is using the platform. The only other option would be to remove your organization as a recipient in the current Referrals Plus tool, which we wouldn't necessarily recommend because we don't want to halt your referral activity for the next week. If you do have concerns that you wish to not accept referrals during this time, again, you can contact referrals@mihin.org to reach our support team. And if needed, we can deactivate your organization in the old platform so no more referrals are received. But again, if you download your information as of end of day on the 16th or first thing in the morning on the 17th, that will include all of the data that has come through in order for you to then transition to the new.
Okay. Can practices install the new application prior to the 17th? Can you elaborate on how they import the active referrals from the old application?
Yes, so again, while you could technically download the new application prior to the 17th, you cannot run the old platform and the new on the same workstation. So you do have to uninstall the old to install the new. No activity can take place in the new until the 17th. All activity must take place in the current Referrals Plus tool. So if you were to uninstall Referrals Plus now and install the new platform, you could certainly start to enter any active referral information, but you would not then have visibility into any referrals received between now and next Tuesday. Which again, as we just spoke to a moment ago, we could technically deactivate your organization if that is something you desire, but we do encourage folks to continue using the old through the 16th and make the evening of the 16th or morning of the 17th when you do that transition. Now, when it comes to the new platform, based on your export of referrals that are active and in process, sending organizations will need to re-enter those referrals in the new platform, and then recipient organizations will need to update those statuses in the new platform. There is not a feature to automatically import that download of information into the new. Now, a large reason for this is because there's some cleanup that could happen in the platform. We were to transition everything over, we'd bring over a lot of data that's not accurate or complete. And so we're encouraging organizations, again, that are sending referrals to look at those that are active or in process and resubmit those to the recipient organizations on the new platform. And for those recipient organizations, upon receipt of those referrals, to confirm the current status against your EHR as the source of truth, to make sure that a referral maybe truly isn't in an accepted status, but it's actually been scheduled. Or perhaps we thought that referral was in process, but it's actually been completed. We just hadn't updated the status in Referrals Plus.
Shannon, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Chris Ford. Sorry, I dropped originally because my Wi-Fi went out, and so I'm on my cell, so I'm here. I want to comment on a couple of things for folks. This is an opportunity for customers who our offices who have a lot of patients that might not have completed referrals in the application, but the patient's referral has been completed. That'll absolutely help over the next week here, folks, to close those prior to this transition on the 17th. To Shannon's point, there's going to have to be some rework and re-entering on the sending side, and obviously triaging those referrals on the receiving side. So any offices that have those that may be needed to be closed in the meantime will help those offices as they reconcile their lists. So just a caveat there. Second note I wanted to iterate is when you, on the 17th, when you are doing the uninstall and the reinstall, make sure you uninstall first before you reinstall the new. I just want to make sure that that's clear. We just want to make sure that the order is done in that way. But then just want to make that point. We've had some questions on that, I know. I had another comment, but I'll wait for.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks. All right, next question is from Jennifer B. Will a watch list also transfer with the other data?
I must admit, I am not personally familiar with the watch list, and so I'm going to need to take that one back into our team. I can certainly follow up with you, Jennifer, on that, and certainly we can make sure that information communicates across all of MiHIN. But I'm not familiar enough with the watch list to confirm if that transfers over. Assuming that is related to actual referrals and activity, I would anticipate the answer is going to be no, that will not transfer over. But I need to understand the watch list feature a little more, as it's not one I'm familiar with. So certainly happy to follow up there.
Great, thanks. Yes, we'll make sure to get an answer for you on that, Jennifer. The next question was from Dawn F. Will there be an upload option, or does information need to be manually entered into the new system? I believe Stephanie already answered that in the chat. She did note that any active referrals, those that are in the pending, accepted, or scheduled status, will need to be manually entered into the new system. So I think that one was already answered for you, Dawn. If you have any further questions, please feel free to come off mute or continue typing in the chat. Stacy J is asking how the new version is different from the HOLON that we are currently using.
Yes, and the primary differences are really on the back end with a complete platform switch. So there's a different back end essentially that we're using in the new platform. And the differences are, one, of course, supporting that sensor technology that we've referenced, but also from a security and compliance perspective, the new platform comes with additional features and components to enhance that security. And as we remain a high trust certified organization and application, that new platform is what is going to continue to be high trust certified moving forward. The old platform is only certified through the end of this month, which is when we will deprecate the old platform and system.
Thank you. All right. Andrew is asking, moving forward, when we need new users made, do we have to resubmit the practice planner?
While you can always submit a practice planner and note that you're adding additional users or maybe you need users deactivated, you're always welcome to use the practice planner format, but it's really just the last tab that we need when it's pure user updates. However, you do not have to use the planner. The reason the planner can be beneficial is it confirms the fields of information we need, the user's name, their email address, their role, and so forth. However, if you take a look at that planner and you understand the details we're asking on the users, you could simply submit an email to referrals@mihin.org And as long as we have all of that user information that we need, we could then create new accounts or of course deactivate users as well based on simply an email being sent to us. So
And
again,
they
for this
also reach
initial,
out to, they can also reach out in this new platform directly to support, right?
absolutely,
Yep.
yes.
That's
Yep,
another,
there is
another
that support.
upgrade.
The support feature is right in the app, or of course you can go through email as well. In the app, of course, you'd have to be a user. But again, there's still certain field requirements we need to create those users. So encourage you to reference the practice planner, and whether you send it in the practice planner format itself, or if you just want to provide those details on the users, we do not require the practice planner moving forward. We just wanted to use it initially to make sure we received all information we need on users. And again, it is certainly an option to use that format moving forward so that you don't forget a field or some of the information that we'll need to create that account.
Great. And Alexandria V, I think, had a very similar question. In the future, when we need to take a user off, how would we do that? I believe kind of follow those same instructions, either send the email or use the in-app support.
Absolutely. And of course, at that point, we don't need all of the fields as long as we can accurately identify that user and you're an administrator that's reaching out asking us to remove them. That can go simply through an email or in-app support request.
Great. And Jasmine, it looks like your question was already answered in the chat by Stephanie, that the version of the app v7.0.0.270 is the most updated build. So we'll keep moving along. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is Robin. I just have a follow-up question to the having to manually upload all the current active referrals. So am I understanding that right? We have over 1,200 open active referrals, so we would have to manually enter those, like redo the work?
Unfortunately, that is the case because we're not transitioning any information from the old to the new. I'm going to assume those are referrals that your organization has initiated, correct?
Yes.
Meaning you are the sending practice?
Yes,
So
yeah,
yes.
we're PCP and we're sending to the specialists. But yeah, so we have one person that works part-time and she pretty much has a 24-hour turnaround. So this is really going to put us behind. So just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Who is speaking right now?
Robin Good with
Robin,
Brookville.
I will follow up with you. I think we have some capacity to support your organization in this, like, you know, in re-entering, and I'd like to discuss it with you. So
okay,
I'll
thank you.
up after.
Appreciate that. And then another with the admin, like right now, if somebody locks themselves out, I can reset their password, but we'll have to ask through the app support to have someone else do it now.
It would be a good idea to also scan.
Do you have a password reset feature in the app? So once they'll be able to do that completely on their own. And this is one reason why we ask for an email address for them.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, our practice might also need support. We are just getting slammed right now. I work for a pain practice and with new referrals as well, and we don't have a big team to enter all of this stuff manually either. I mean, this is going to put us behind as well if I'm the only one that does this. So is there a way that
I have you? I will reach out to you after and see how we can support.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Great questions, everybody. Keep them coming. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to continue with Joe's question. If there's an issue with the new platform upload, will received referrals wait in queue until new platform is up and running?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by the new platform upload, Joe. Again, we're not transitioning any referral data over. So as long as you have exported from the old platform end of day, the 16th or morning of the 17th before uninstalling and installing the new, there shouldn't be anything that is kind of in a pending status. Again, if your organization does not want to receive referrals through next Tuesday, we would have to deactivate you in the current platform or make it so that you can't receive referrals. If that is something you wish to pursue, I do encourage you to reach out to referrals@mihin.org for support to work through that with you. Otherwise, again, because we're kind of having a D-Day set that nothing new happens in the old, starting the 17th, everything will happen in the new. We shouldn't have anything that kind of gets lost in purgatory between one system and another, as long as you're downloading information at that time.
Conscientious sender and or receive, right? Senders will need to resend those referrals. Receivers won't receive the referral.
Chris, your audio is breaking up
So
quite a bit.
Is it? Okay.
I'm not sure. Would you maybe be able to use the chat?
I'm on my cell phone, so it's a little difficult.
All right, I am going to keep moving along it because I know we only have about a minute left. So we're going to try to get through as many of these as we can. Christy was asking if we have any issues installing the new system. Is there someone specific to contact? That is that MiHIN@Referrals email address that we'll put in the chat again, correct?
Yeah, referrals@mihin.org. That will automatically send to the support team. And again, when it comes to the 17th and doing the uninstallation and reinstallation process, we will have an open webinar that day, and we'll be sending that information out. So if you encounter any issues or have any questions, you'll be able to connect with us, and members of our team and MiHIN's team will be manning that for the day, and will be available for any immediate needs.
Great. And then Melissa K, I see that you had a question about where to manually enter the information. And I know Joanne is going to connect with you offline about getting you some help so we can address that question in that conversation. Alexandria V, just to confirm, we have to close the incomplete referrals and then manually re-enter them on our end. Is this correct? So admins for the practice can no longer create new users for their staff. Sorry, those were kind of two questions from the same person.
So if a referral is incomplete, it does not need to be closed in the old platform. It's going to stay in its current status, but it will be, if you are a sending organization and that referral is still active, it has not been completed or canceled, then you will be entering that into the new platform, and the recipient organization will then update the status. So if you have sent a referral over, it is currently in an accepted but not scheduled status. You do need to then send that referral again in the new platform. When the recipient organization receives that, they're going to compare against their EHR, and hopefully we're going to find this helps to clean up some of those statuses, as maybe it actually has been scheduled, it just didn't get updated in Referrals Plus yet. And so that will be the process for that upload of the current active information. And then you'll follow that same process moving forward for any new referrals using that new referrals feature, or if you have the sensor, of course, launching from the ribbon itself. In order to send those referrals moving forward, it's going to be the same process, whether it's a net new referral or you're transitioning a referral from the old platform. Now, in regards to creating new users for staff, that is correct. Those admin features you are familiar with in the old are currently held within our organization. And so whether you need to add users, remove users, let's say you need to update your questionnaire, any of those administrative tasks that you're familiar with, you'll now need to reach out to support through referrals@mihin.org, and our team will assist you with those.
Great. And then
we can keep going. Let's just keep seeing if we can get through these so that we can make sure everybody knows what's happening.
yes, absolutely. So
Thank you.
it looks like some of the questions were being answered in the chat already, so I'll try to skip over some of those, but if I miss anybody, please let me know. There was a question around what time will the new system be available on the 17th, so that way I can plan an import time frame. I believe we've answered that. Technically, it is already available. We are just asking everybody on the 17th to uninstall and then reinstall the new one. But Shannon, if you want to elaborate any further on that.
And that is correct. Again, you could technically do the uninstall, reinstall today, but you would lose out on any referrals that are coming through over these next few days. And so I do appreciate that we need to stop sending referrals as of the 16th. in the old platform, that's when that download will occur. I see there was a question about will a communication be sent out to remind folks not to use the old platform. I do think that is a great idea, and certainly we'll let MiHIN speak to that as well. But what we will do is make the old platform read only as of the 17th. And so users could still log in the morning of the 17th. They could still do their download before uninstalling. But again, no new activity or nothing new can be entered into that old platform starting the 17th, because we are encouraging you then to switch over to the 17th to continue those referrals.
Okay, and then I think the last one, because Joe's question was answered by Stephanie in the chat. Joe, if you have any additional questions, please let us know. But it looks like Deborah maybe has the next question. What is the new platform address to download?
The new platform, so as if you're referring to the URL, we can certainly drop that in the chat. Maybe Stephanie could help me with that. But it will be the same download page that is communicated in the collateral that has been sent by MiHIN and is available as well on the MiHIN website today. It's just a URL. There's a password to access, and all of that is covered in the installation guide on the MiHIN website.
I just put the MiHIN website that Shannon was referring to in the chat, and like she said, you can find all of the guides in that chat or in that webpage. I apologize. And then it looks like Megan G just had another question. For those that have a high volume to manually enter into the new application, would it be best to install the new application on a machine not running Referrals Plus, since both applications cannot run on the same machine?
That is a great question. While that could technically be done, you could install the new platform on a machine not running Referrals Plus and start that process. The practices are currently being loaded in the new platform. So you may find that you go to send a referral right now for a practice that hasn't been set up yet. And in fact, we have, I believe we have all the practices transitioned over, but we have to set up the users for the practice planners that we are still working through, and we'll be working through likely even beyond the 17th. So again, yes, it's a great question, and you technically could start to do that, but you would want to keep tabs if there's a practice or that doesn't show up in that search result yet. They're still being added, and of course they'll be available as soon as we get that practice planner document back. But you may not be able to create all of those referrals in the new platform as of today.
Great, thank you. And then Melissa K just had a follow-up question to make sure she was understanding correctly. She said, I am receiving referrals from the other office. The accepted referrals that have not been scheduled will need to be manually entered on my end if they are not completed, or the offices sending the referral will resend them so we don't have to manually enter.
It's the latter, Melissa. For an organization that has sent the referral initially, they will now need to send that referral again in the new platform. You as a recipient organization, you cannot initiate that referral, but upon receipt of that referral, you can then update the status. So the sending organizations, oftentimes it's primary care groups, but not always. Those will be the ones to initiate in the new platform as they did in the old. And the recipient organization or who's being referred to, you'll only need to update the status and provide back the documentation or completion information as that occurs.
Okay, and then Megan G was just noting that it's a very tight turnaround and was asking if there's any opportunity to extend the go live.
And unfortunately, we are on the path for the 17th right now. We did the 17th to give us a slight amount of buffer before, again, the old platform is deprecated as of the end of this month. But we did need to set a date and a D date, unfortunately. So I don't believe we have any opportunity at this point to push beyond the 17th. We have too much really in motion, and everyone has been communicated to. If your organization has concerns about that time frame, or if you need some extra help or assistance, again, encourage you to reach out to referrals@mihin.org. And in any way the MiHIN and Whole On team can help your organization, we will be there to partner with you and do so. And we're going to get through this together.
Thank you, everybody who came. I will be sending out a recording of this and notes from it. We have a frequently asked questions guide on the website that we can update. And like Shannon said, I have my email here. You can write to referrals at MiHIN. We are going to do everything we can to support this network in getting onto this new platform and reinitiating all of the really important work that's happening on it. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.